Hidden beneath Arctic ice for a millennium, a perfectly preserved Viking ship emerges from its frozen tomb. With its cargo still intact and secrets waiting to be uncovered, this remarkable discovery is rewriting everything we knew about Viking maritime history. In the summer of 2022, what started as a normal day for glaciologist Sarah Henderson and her team turned into a historic moment. Using advanced ground-penetrating radar to study Arctic ice melt, they spotted something unusual, a massive ship-shaped outline buried deep in the ice. The team's excitement grew as they carefully melted through the layers, revealing the unmistakable dragon-headed prow of a Viking longship. The vessel was in amazing condition, preserved by the ice for over 1,000 years. Unlike other Viking ship finds that are usually damaged or incomplete, this one was nearly perfect, from its wooden planks to the leather rope still holding the mast in place. The cold had acted like a giant freezer, protecting everything from decay. Even the carved decorations along the sides were still clear and sharp, looking almost like they were made yesterday. The ice that preserved this Viking ship created perfect conditions for preservation, almost like a natural time capsule. The steady temperature below freezing, combined with layers of dense ice, kept oxygen and bacteria away from the wood and other materials. Think of it as nature's freezer, but one that worked non-stop for 1,000 years. The ice pack in this region stayed remarkably stable over the centuries, building up layer by layer while protecting everything inside. Scientists found that this particular spot had unique features: a deep crevasse that initially trapped the ship, followed by steady ice accumulation that sealed it off completely. The ice was also surprisingly pure, with few minerals or contaminants that could have damaged the wood. This combination of cold, pressure, and pure ice worked together to keep the ship in amazing condition. The ship's cargo hold was like a frozen treasure chest from the Viking Age. Among the most exciting finds were dozens of amber beads, silver coins from distant lands, and bundles of valuable furs still perfectly preserved. The team found cooking pots with traces of the crew's last meal, and beautifully carved wooden chests filled with tools and personal items. One of the most surprising discoveries was a collection of delicate glass vessels, probably meant for trade, that survived completely intact. These items paint a picture of a wealthy trading vessel that was likely heading to a settlement in Greenland. The cargo suggests these Vikings weren't just warriors. They were clever merchants who traded luxury goods across vast distances. Even more fascinating were the personal touches: a child's wooden toy, a set of gaming pieces, and a merchant's record carved in runes, giving us a glimpse into everyday Viking life. Modern technology has given us an incredible window into this ancient ship's secrets. Using 3D laser scanning, scientists created a perfect digital copy of the vessel, accurate down to the smallest nail. X-ray imaging revealed hidden compartments in the ship's structure, showing clever storage spaces the Vikings used to protect valuable cargo. The team even found traces of ancient DNA preserved in the ice, telling us about the ship's crew and the animals they brought along. Special chemical analysis of the wood showed this ship was built from trees that grew in Norway's forests, while metal detectors found tools made from iron mined in Sweden. By studying tiny air bubbles trapped in the ice around the ship, scientists could even figure out what the weather was like when the ship got stuck. These high-tech tools have helped us understand not just how the ship was built, but also the story of its final journey. The story of the crew's final days has emerged from careful study of the evidence left behind. The ship's logbook, written in runes on preserved leather, tells of a desperate battle against worsening weather. Food supplies found in the hold suggest the crew had enough to last several weeks, but they were clearly rationing toward the end. Personal belongings were found neatly packed away, not scattered as they would be in a panic, telling us the crew had time to prepare for whatever came next. Footprints preserved in the ice lead away from the ship in an organized line, heading south toward known Viking settlements. The crew seems to have made a planned decision to abandon ship when they realized they were trapped. Most telling were the marks left in the ice showing they tried to free the ship multiple times before finally leaving. These 23 brave sailors apparently survived the initial crisis, but faced an uncertain journey across the frozen landscape. This amazing ship discovery has completely changed what we know about Viking trade routes. The location tells us Vikings sailed much further north than we thought, opening up new trading paths through the Arctic. The mix of goods found on board, like eastern silks next to northern furs, shows they connected trade networks from different parts of the world. Maps carved into wooden planks found in the captain's quarters marked out routes we never knew existed, including shortcuts through seasonal ice passages. The ship's construction had special features for handling icy waters, with extra thick hull planks and unique steering systems. What's really exciting is how this proves Vikings weren't just lucky sailors. They had detailed knowledge of Arctic currents and seasonal ice patterns. We now know they used these frozen routes regularly, not just as one-off adventures. This discovery is basically rewriting the story of Viking trade. The frozen ship has shown us some amazing Viking building techniques we never knew about. The hull was built using a special overlapping plank design that could flex with the ice pressure instead of cracking. The wood itself was carefully chosen, oak trees that grew on north-facing slopes, making them naturally more resistant to cold. The Vikings used a clever system of removable crossbeams that could be adjusted to handle different ice conditions. What's really cool is their waterproofing method. They developed a special mix of pine tar, wool and animal hair that stayed flexible even in freezing temperatures. The ship also had hidden chambers between the inner and outer hull that acted like modern-day shock absorbers. Even the iron nails were placed in a pattern that allowed the wood to expand and contract with temperature changes without splitting. The frozen ship was like a time capsule of Viking daily life at sea. Personal items found on board paint a surprisingly detailed picture of who these sailors were. In the crew's quarters, they found wooden combs with bits of hair still stuck in them, leather shoes sized for different feet, and even a set of bone dice for gaming during long watches. The kitchen area held wooden bowls with traces of their last meals, a mix of dried fish, barley porridge, and surprisingly, some exotic spices from distant lands. A small chest contained sewing supplies, needles, thread, and patches for repairing clothes at sea. One sailor had kept a small carving of his family, while another had a pouch of lucky stones. Most touching was a child's leather ball, suggesting at least one young person was aboard. These simple items show us that Viking sailors weren't just tough warriors. They were regular people who missed home, played games, and looked after each other at sea. While this discovery is exciting for archaeologists, it carries a sobering message about climate change. The melting Arctic ice that revealed this ship is part of a bigger environmental story. The same glacier that kept this vessel perfectly preserved for 1,000 years is now retreating at an alarming rate. Scientists estimate that without this rapid ice melt, the ship might have stayed hidden for centuries more. The area where the ship was found has lost over 30% of its ice cover in just the last 2 decades. This melting is uncovering other ancient artifacts too, but it also means we're losing the very conditions that preserved them. The discovery team noted that as the ice continues to melt, more Viking artifacts might emerge, but they're racing against time to study and preserve them before exposure to air and weather causes damage. This frozen ship has completely changed how we view Viking civilization. Far from being just raiders, these were skilled traders with advanced technology and global connections. The ship's design shows they were master engineers, creating vessels that could handle extreme Arctic conditions. The cargo tells us they had trade routes stretching from the Middle East to North America, much more extensive than we thought. Personal items show they weren't just tough warriors, but also artists, traders, and family people. Their navigation tools prove they had deep knowledge of astronomy and ocean currents. Even their business records show they used complex trading systems we once thought came much later in history. The ship's location proves they mastered Arctic navigation centuries before other European sailors dared to try. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey through Viking history. This discovery shows just how much we're still learning about these amazing seafarers. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe and share to explore more fascinating historical discoveries together.